Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to your daily lunchtime show where we recap on current events and headlines in the country. Bringing you into Ke December, my name is Aurelia Samuyenga and this is NMH at 1. Let's start off with the incoming news for the morning. Prime Minister Sarakuongela Madila said genocide money will not go to government. However, that a special purpose vehicle will be set up outside government for the funds to be used exclusively on programs for affected communities. How is Namibia progressing with vaccinations against COVID-19? Let's have a look. By Sunday, more than 300,000 people were fully vaccinated. This represents 12.3% of the population, or 20.5%, or 1/5 of the target set, which is to vaccinate 60% of the population. Almost 80% of people who took vaccines, which require a second dose, have already received their follow-up jabs. After an increase in vaccination 2 weeks ago, a decline was experienced during the past week. Overall, weekly, vaccinations decreased with 8.5% from close to 15,500 to just more than 14,000. This is in spite of continued pleas by government and from the private sector to get vaccinated. Except for 2,461 doses administered last Wednesday, our graphic shows about 1,800 new vaccinations on weekdays and about 800 follow-up jabs. Sunday again shows higher numbers because of delayed reporting by numerous regions on Friday and Saturday. Looking at monthly totals for November, first vaccinations stand at 35,000 and second vaccinations at 18,900. These are the lowest numbers since July, when Namibia was in the grips of a severe third wave of the pandemic. Let's look at Namibia's performance over time and vaccination rates for the country's 14 regions. During the past 4 weeks, total vaccinations including first and second doses were consistently less than 4,000 per day. Based on rounded percentages, vaccination rates for the following regions increased over the past 7 days. In Kavango West, 26% of the population have been fully vaccinated, meaning that more than 1 in 4 residents have completed a course of either 1 or 2 injections based on their vaccine of choice. In the Hardab region, this figure improved to 20%, or 1 in 5 people. The rate in the Khomas region increased to 16% and to 15% in Oshodonjupa and Omaheke. Omusati, Oshikoto, and Kavango East reached 9%, and in the Ongwena region, 8% of the population are now fully vaccinated. As per usual, here at NMH at 1, we bring you a number of video news clips from across the country. B2 Gold Namibia celebrates 2 events with the Otavi community every year, namely the Otavi Elderly Christmas Lunch and Disability Day. The events are intended to show gratitude to the elderly and persons living with disabilities. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, there was no lunch yesterday. Instead, the corporation handed over food parcels valued at just over 300,000 Namibian dollars. Enzo Amwele attended the event.
Donation we given was a testing center, as you're aware. The bus stop prior to that, schools, everything we've done here, we do with a lot of pride because you are our community. And we'd like to speak to you about how we can continue to embrace you
Mitras que es que sabiches, si y do, la que la tonka, satura tonka ko ba krasnega, ni hasa, if you pata sahu, ai ko requires sa. So the task, I give you the task, director of the program, so that we can summarize at the end the messages that have come out here.
Public Enterprises Minister Leon Schuster talks about the need to develop the Luderitz Waterfront Development Company's outstanding projects. This clip was contributed.
So I think it's good that we are showing where this money is going to and what is required to finish this. And we are so close to the end of this amazing project. So we've got to push this through. And if anything, I would want to encourage Cabinet to support us, that we finish this last part quicker. So I really I understand the delays and that I think we inherited in a way from my ministry side, but now we would want to complete this.
Closing off our video segments for the day is the Creative Entrepreneurship Program, CEP, who held their pitch night yesterday with 8 businesses pitching their business concepts to a panel of judges. Irene Marie van der Walt was there.
Of course, also very uncertain for us. So how will it come across? Will we have a community at the end? Because at the end of the day, and you mentioned it just now, yes, it's about, well, business skills and all this, but I believe the whole community aspect. I'm so glad that A, you guys made that happen, and B, that we were actually able to had like classes and courses like in present to a large extent. Last year was a bit more difficult, but this year we could pull it off, and well, let's hope the future is even getting easier in this regard. But like I said, well, without you guys, the program would not have been what it was, and I'm so excited to see what came.
CEP was there to sort of add that support, because as a startup going through business, sometimes you have these bumps and you just think like, why am I even still in this game? And then we would meet up and have our meetings, and people would share all the struggles they went through, and you're just like, oh, I'm not alone. So it was that emotional support which I really appreciated.
Let's have a look at the stories making headlines in our national papers for today. We start off with Namibian Sun, which reports that Fishrock lackey Nigel van Wyk, in a report to the Office of the Ombudsman, has accused the Anti-Corruption Commission of unfair treatment during his arrest at the residence of his co-accused Shaki Shangala in December 2019. Republican reports that the Defense Ministry is refusing to give auditors access to military bases, weapons, and equipment, and has therefore resulted in it receiving a poor audit opinion. The Allgemeine Zeitung reports that an index about civil society organizations in Namibia, presented by the Institute for Public Policy Research, shows that many of them are dependent on foreign sponsorships because Namibians themselves hardly provide support. The Namibia reports that a Namibian diplomat tested positive for the Omicron COVID-19 variant in Japan on Sunday. In the New Era, it is reported that while HIV/AIDS remains a major public health issue, Namibia appears to stemming the tide of the epidemic. And on the inside of our country's newspapers, you'll be able to read up on the following stories. According to MarketWatch, although rental markets across most advanced economies are on a path of recovery due to the resumption of quote-unquote normal life, improved pace of COVID-19 vaccination and job growth, these dynamics remain far-fetched in the Namibian market context. On page 3 of the Namibian Sun, it is reported that with the All People's Party, APP, National Bureau expected to sit on 11 December to decide who will lead the party following the death of its leader, Ignatius Chiguameni, underground campaigns have already commenced. Republican reports that 79 years after her birth on the farm Guinnesspo, Ms. Amanda Karises and her husband Alfred and their grandchildren now have to leave. The farm belongs to former President Hifikepunye Pohamba. Judge Shifimana Wetele granted an eviction order to Pohamba's legal team on September 29 after a long battle in the High Court. The Allgemeine Zeitung reports that President Hage Geingob also condemned the travel restrictions imposed by the Omicron variant of the coronavirus, while the Health yesterday paved the way for so-called booster vaccinations. The Namibian reports that farmers maintaining healthy relations with their employees is an important step to ensure stock theft cases in the country is reduced, according to Namibian police spokesperson Kauna Shikwambi. In the new era, it is reported that 2 underage girls who were raped and trafficked by a South African national suffered post-traumatic stress after the sexual encounters. A social worker testified yesterday in the Windhoek High Court. And that is it for today's edition of NMH at 1. From myself, Aurelia Samienga, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow again at the same time, always at the same place. But until then, with temperatures rising and K-December plans in the way, here is your weather update.